Good morning, my thirsty friend. Today we are at Domaine Combier in Vallée du Rhône, just past the 45th parallel this morning and going up to north. So Domaine Combier is famous for his Crozes-Hermitage, which has been produced organically since the 70s, I believe. So it's kind of one of the most famous producer in the appellation. So we will find out today a bit more about his history and philosophy. We are now in the cellar. Okay, so I'm now with David, the son of Laurent Combier, who will introduce us the estate and give us a bit of history about it. Hi David, thank you very much for welcoming us at the estate. We are now in the, seems like the barrel room. Yeah. I mean, it's quite a lot of barrel, the oaks.
Yeah. We are a family estate. Yeah. It was created by my great-grandfather in the 30s. After that was my grandparents take the lead in growing the estate. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather was a really more fruit producers, like lots of apricot, peach, apple. It was few hectares of the Clos de Grives, the historic plot, was planted in the 50s, and yeah, but it was only 5 hectares. And it was my parents, they start and they develop the winemaking, the wine growing. Mm-hmm. Actually, we manage 60 hectares by fruit, by vines, and 5 hectares of apricots. The first vintage was 1990.
Okay, so it's
we
quite
we are producer of grape from many time, from the 50s. Mm-hmm. But during 40 years, my grandparents and my great-grandparents was selling the grapes to Paul Jaboulet or to La Cave de Temps. Yep. And my dad created the winery in 1989. And yeah.
And it just started with Clos de Grives?
It started with the Clos de Grives and some young vines. At the beginning was for the Domaine Combier, the village quality. Yeah. And after that, mostly in 1999. My dad started with the Cuvée L, the purple label. Mm-hmm. So he started to plant new vine. So with the babies or with the young vine, it was interesting to make a fresh, easy wine, fruity wine.
What would you say are the characteristics of the land and the soil in Crozes-Hermitage?
So in Crozes-Hermitage, mostly where we are here in the south part of Crozes-Hermitage. The Hermitage with the village of Hermitage is our middle point. So you have Crozes-Hermitage north and south. And here in the south is mostly some galets roulés, so some with argillus. So it's come from the soil are come from the Alps. So it's the same soils like in Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
There's a lot of galets roulés running.
So there was a river basically in the past. Okay.
Exactly. Historically here in the Domaine Combier, my dad started with the barrel. In the 90s it was the Robert Parker side, so it was okay. But my dad reflect really earlier to buy some barrels, but to keep, actually we buy all the barrels new and we keep during 15 years.
Okay.
So we have new oak, we have old oak, we have medium.
So the percentage of new oak is pretty low.
It's only for the big one.
Only for the big one, okay.
And after for the young vine, it's more in the old oak.
Mm. And I can see also some different size barrel and also some
food,
some eggs.
Some eggs, concrete, some barrels. Some
there's
glass
even
barrels.
more.
So it's here in the cellar is many contain different because we only want to make wine with fruit, so we don't use any oenologic product during the fermentation, only a sulfate. but is here during the aging. We want to create some difference to help the young vines to take some body, to take some nice aromatic. So it's why in the room barrels we have many size, many content, many material difference.
We are now back in the tasting room. So we're talking with David a bit about the Crozes-Hermitage appellation, and I want to show you a map about the Crozes-Hermitage appellation. So we can see there is two areas, one which is south, which is historically the area where Combier is, with the soil which are, as you mentioned, more like Châteauneuf du Pape.
Really rocky and really galère roulée, and really deep, because you have the two rivers, the Rhône on the left and the Isère, and these two rivers are come from the Alps, and so it's some part of the calcaire from the Alps. They are rolling, just here. So you have two or three different parts of Crozes-Hermitage: the south, the east, and the north. So we are here located on the south, and we have 80% of our vineyards in 5 kilometers around the estate. So we are really focused on the south. And historically, in the middle of the 90s, my dad can find some fermage in Jarvan and in Serres-sur-Rhône. So here you have the Hermitage, is the Grand Cru of the region. So it's the northern part, and here it's quite more on the slope. It's a really different soils. It's some loess. Is really old granitic decomposition.
So it's more light and sandy kind of soil.
Exactly. And here in the east part is really more planted by whites, because you have the famous Coteau des Pins is just on here. And it's really interesting for the white, with the village of Larnage, some kaolin, really white soils.
So now you have vines in all three different area, and as you mentioned, now you are able to blend them in order to get a wine which overall you find more representative of Crozes-Hermitage. Except, of course, when you produce Clos des Grives, which is 100% from the source, one parcel. So here are the two white wine which we tried today. So the purple label Laurent Combier is a mix of négoce and young vines from the estate. This one is 100% Marsanne. The range of Laurent Combier white and red are very friendly, easy drinking wine that make them very approachable. Quite for the white, I would say food driven, with some also floral character, more toward some chamomile type of dry flower. Very crisp, with a good round body. And then after you have the Domaine Combier, which has been aged with a bit of oak of a different size, and which is different blend. In this case is 30% Roussanne, 70% Marsanne, and you get a little bit more toasty almond character, together with some white orchid, white flower, slightly honey. So of course the mouth is more powerful, more creamy, with quite a vibrant acidity. Now we started testing with this IGP Collines Rhodaniennes 2021. So vines are from granitic soil, close from Montélimar, a wine which is very light, very good level of acidity, good structure. Overall, I would say the wine like to me a little bit of flesh, but it's pleasant, easy drinking. It's quite an affordable wine. A bit of reduction, so it needs to breathe. Then you will get reward, you know, with a bit of food, but quite simple, easy drinking wine. I was much more impressed by the Crozes-Hermitage, the one with the purple label 2021 from so the Laurent Combier range. That displays some beautiful violet character. Wine is I don't want to say juicy, but it's quite soft, you know, on the palate, with this great liveliness. Really feel, you know, some mouth watering. So it delivers overall a quite vibrant style of Syrah, but which is quite polished as well. And this is what you have to expect from Crozes, from the terroir of Crozes, which tends to deliver wines which are a little bit more easy to drink in their youth. Also a bit of minty character. So yeah, one of my favorite wine today. My favorite wine is actually the following one, which I didn't know, which is because it's new from them. It's called Cap Nord, the Saint-Joseph appellation 2020. So here you can feel, I mean, you're in a different league. I mean, there's much more depth in the wine. I mean, even more liveliness, and it's really vibrant, but in the sense that you feel, you know, the wine which is dancing in your palate. And I love the bouquet, which was toward more some smoky licorice and beautiful peppermint character. So it's actually on a north exposition, so it's a really cool climate, and you really feel from this one that it's refreshing. So definitely a wine to keep an eye on. And finally, the Clos des Grives, one of the most iconic cuvées. I mean, price-wise, it's a bit more expensive, so I feel like in terms of price value, I'm kind of keen to drink more the Laurent Combier, which is almost half the price. But yes, there is more tannic structure. You feel the wine is a bit more polished, more structured, but still with the character of Crozes, which is kind of central, with this great liveliness which sign all the range from Domaine Combier wines. I'm now with David next to the estate to have a look at their vines in Crozes-Hermitage appellation. I mean, as you can see, you know, the soil is very rich, very stony, like I mean, almost like Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Our problem is we have only one variety. So when it's ready here, it's ready on the Clos des Grives, or it's ready in the north. So we have a very short
window.
Short window.
Yeah.
So we have to be ready to have the good pickers.
So do you harvest by machine or everything by hand?
The young vineyard, we have the harvest machine.
Mm-hmm. For the purple label.
Yeah.
Yep.
Purple label. Because actually the quality of the harvest of machine is really very good.
Mm-hmm.
But for this kind of vineyard, they are not really old, but they are 40 years old. We prefer to keep by hand, to don't choke the feed, to don't choke the vine, and yeah, to keep the best quality for the Domaine, Cap Nord and Clos des Grives. We hope this year will be great.
Okay, finger crossed.
Yeah.
So far so good. and good luck for this vintage.
Thank you
Thanks, David.
Thank you for coming.